All right, man. Torture Talk after hours. You know what it is, man. So we're gonna check in with my boy Jay Nolan. Um, we're gonna talk about the Drake UMG lawsuit. And they're talking about everything that happened in the courtroom. Now I did another episode about this, but we didn't go through all of what was said, and he's gonna go through all of what was said. So let's get it, man. All right, man. So let's go.
Judge says, what is the damage in bot streaming? Gottlieb says every other artist on the platform is injured. Okay. UMG lawyer says in the record are articles mentioning his going to girls basketball, relationship at 31 with a 13-year-old Millie Bobby Brown, and lyrics. Now, again, this is jumping all over the place.
Yeah, this is about to get crazy. If this goes through, and he really want to go through with this, bro, we might be seeing Drake go to jail. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, cause trust and believe. It, once the government get involved in something like this, then yeah, it's not gonna be good for this bull. It's not gonna be good. I mean, right now the government obviously isn't involved, but anything can happen at this point when you're dealing with big labels and stuff like that, and you putting on saying certain things. You really asking for it. You really asking for it. I'm telling you.
And it doesn't seem to be all that chronological. It's probably just what he's able to catch in real time. He does a much better job on Diddy, I must say, than he did with this, because this is like a thread of 12 tweets within, how long was this? I don't even see the time. But he was there for over an hour. Not the greatest, but I don't think there was anyone else that really documented this stuff all the way through. But as you can see in that last tweet there, UMG lawyer is honing in on the fact of Drake mentioning going to the girls' basketball games. You know, the texting relationship between himself and Millie Bobby Brown about boys and, you know, whatever else they were talking about. Talking about I miss you so much. And then certain lyrics in his songs that have been questioned, right? So they're saying, again, Kendrick Lamar is not the originator of any of the things that were said on Not Like Us. He was just reiterating things that were already talked about, that were already prevalent, that were already documented all over the internet. Unfortunately,
That's a fact. He was. A lot of people don't want to admit it, but he was. He literally was. That's man. That's why I say like Drake gotta be real careful because this will come back to bite him. Like I'm telling y'all now, man. I know listen. I'm telling y'all now. This is all gonna come back to bite Drake. I'm telling you. I'm telling y'all. I promise you, it's gonna come back to bite him. I promise. I promise you.
the only other account that I see that's reported on this situation as we went through the inner city press is the OVO docket. Now, the OVO docket is a Drake stand page, okay? So, they were also there. They also did their follow-ups. So, take some of the angling with a grain of salt, but we have inner city press who's pretty much neutral, just there to do his job. He's a journalist with his own shit going on. And then you have the OVO docket, whoever the fuck this person is. And this is how they documented it, all right? Now, again, it says OVO docket on it. This person don't like me. They got me blocked on Twitter, but the way that Twitter is set up nowadays, even if a person blocks you, you can still see what they post. So, fuck you. I can still see it, homie. Anyway. So, They report Judge Jeanette Vargas did not decide on UMG Recordings' motion to dismiss today. Judge Vargas stated she will render her opinion at a later date. No specific date was given. Judge Vargas challenged both sides by asking.
Damn. So we don't know when this is going to continue. This shit can continue next year. We don't know. Dang. She's like, nah, I'm not doing this. This could continue on. Now, you know what I mean? Can continue on. This is crazy.
Questions about issues she felt were outstanding. Okay? Judge Vargas opened oral argument by informing both parties she had reviewed all briefings and was privy to all the facts. She focused oral arguments on two things: legal determination is not like us, fact or opinion. To what extent should she consider the exhibits UMG submitted, along with the motion to dismiss? Okay. The UMG lawyer that Inner City Press was talking about is attorney Roland Ransom, and they argued for UMG. Says he argued that not like us is non-actionable opinion, and it is up to Judge Vargas to determine whether it is defamation, and that defamation should not be determined by a jury. So Roland Ransom for UMG says, Judge, you can decide that this should be. You can decide the judgment here. You don't have to wait. You don't have to send it to a trial for the jury. You can say what needs to be said. Judge Vargas, however, stopped Ransom and challenged him by stating defamation is to be determined at trial. She stated there is case law, Davis versus Boheme, that draws the court to find that the motion to dismiss should not be granted based on the audience being susceptible to understanding not like us as defamation. Judge Vargas stated that one of the main things she wants Ransom to address is two specific case laws that clash, Davis versus Boheme and Brian v. Richardson. Ransom then argued that Drake's opposition misstates certain case law by suggesting defamation is based on how a listener could be susceptible to thinking not like us is defamatory. Judge Vargas agreed with that notion but redirected Ransom back to Davis. She stated that the court is required to view things in the light most favorable to Drake, and the Davis case law does not support dismissal. Okay? Take that.
I don't know if I believe she said that. Favorable to, well, then again, it could be true because they are they're the ones taking them to court. So I believe that, yeah, it would favor. Yeah, I understand.
However you will, as far as it has to be most favorable to Drake. Although, in many cases, you are kind of assuming that the complaint is factual on its face and it has to be disproven.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. That's exactly what I was trying to say. That since he took them to court, it kind of comes off like this has to be the truth. You know what I'm saying? Like it kind of has to be the truth. It's not the truth, but they're proceeding in court like it's the truth until they proven otherwise.
Ransom asked the court to consider the context of Not Like Us being a part of a rap battle. He states that the focal argument of the Davis case is whether there are implied facts or undisclosed facts. Ransom argued Not Like Us has zero implication of undisclosed facts. Judge Vargas interrupted and stated there are lyrics in Not Like Us that suggest Lamar is privy to undisclosed facts. There's ambiguity there, but I must view it in the light most favorable to the plaintiff. So based on what OVO Docket is saying here and what Inner City Press said about the same conversation, they seem to be pretty much saying the same thing. Although in different language, it's conveying the same message, although they keep using favorable to the plaintiff. Ransom then moved to Steinhibler v. Alphonse, which discusses statements made in the middle of a heated dispute. Ransom argued the court should apply the Steinhibler defense to the rap battle. Judge Vargas stated, the logical conclusion of your argument is that all statements in rap battles should never be taken as fact, but there are instances where people do think rap lyrics are factual, okay?
I mean, that's true, but not in this case. Because I guess when they go to when they take this to to trial, because they're gonna go to trial if they do, right? They're gonna break it down that he never really called Drake a pedophile. They're gonna do that. You know what I'm saying? They're going to say that.
So the judge is saying there are circumstances in which a person can believe that rap lyrics are conveying truth. Ransom then stated the nature of the lyrics suggests Not Like Us was just top tier trash talking and rhetorical hyperbole, and that it's no different than shock jocks on the radio. Judge Vargas followed the context. Here is a rap diss battle, but who heard the song? Is it only rap music listeners? Is it radio listeners? How do I, sitting here as a judge, determine that statements in a rap battle are not true? Sometimes statements made in a rap battle are true. Do I need to have more facts, more discovery before I can make a decision as a matter of law? So, again, different terms. They're putting quotations, so it seems that they're including actual quotes from the judge rather than general statements of what was heard, which is more so what Inner City Press does.
I mean, I understand what she's saying, but how, like, my thing is, so you basically saying that you really can't say anything because anybody could believe anything. Like, basically, that's what you're saying. Like, anybody could believe anything when it comes to this type of stuff. I feel like that's how it's coming off, in my opinion.
But they kind of seem to be saying the same thing. Judge Vargas continues, the court needs more to consider whether statements are fact or opinion. The court can't decide as a matter of law without more context, which I said the whole time. I do believe that the judge is going to want to see more information before just considering this as a wash and tossing it out. Ransom states that the amicus brief and exhibits provide all the context needed to make a decision. Ransom then references Drake's lyrics in Tailor-Made Freestyle as the proof. Drake asked Kendrick Lamar to discuss his relationships with minors. Now, I do believe that the amici could be available for the trial to elaborate on the history of rap battles and contextualizing these things, but Ransom is saying, hey, we got the amicus brief, we got all these exhibits, we got everything here. If you just read through it, you could say this is garbage. Wouldn't that be nice? Ransom then stated that Drake's complaint relies heavily on online statements from the public sharing their subjective opinions on their interpretation of Not Like Us. Ransom argued that the court should not consider anything subjective for something that is supposed to be an objective test, not to mention they're just cherry picking certain comments, right?
That's a fact. They definitely is. They definitely is cherry picking certain things. And my thing is, like, they're just totally ignoring the fact that Drake definitely did say, tell him this and tell him that through Tailor-Made Freestyle. He definitely said that. And now it's kind of like his lawyers is basically like, they don't want to bring that up or say that. He said obviously they don't for obvious reasons, but it's crazy. This is crazy.
That are unfavorable to Drake. But there's so many people out there that just enjoyed this battle for what it was, which was entertainment and a war of words between two of the biggest artists in the music industry. People will pick their sides, people will have their own viewpoints, but is it more serious than that? I never saw it that way, but I'm not in the court. Judge Vargas then asked Ransom, let me challenge you on one specific lyric, Certified Lover Boy, Certified P-Foul. It does give the reasonable listener the impression that in some unspecified way, Drake is a P-Foul. Who is the reasonable listener? Is it people who know the nuances of Kendrick Drake, as I stated before? So even though OVO docket is a stand page, we already read through Inner City Press's documentation of this. It's pretty much there. Judge Vargas asked Ransom to clarify whether UMG's request for the court to consider these exhibits, along with their motion to dismiss, should be taken as truth or merely for the court to acknowledge that rumor and innuendo already existed regarding Drake. Ransom responded that he does not want the rumors to be taken as truth, but only for the court to acknowledge that the rumors already existed. Judge Vargas then instructs Ransom to argue the two other claims, harassment in the second degree and violation of New York general business law. For the New York general business law claim, Ransom argued that it should be dismissed because Drake did not sustain a direct injury. Ransom stated that Drake points to consumers being deceived rather than him directly suffering an injury. For the harassment claim, Ransom argued that it should be dismissed because there is no private right of action and this type of claim is a matter for state court rather than federal court. Ransom ended there. Next up was Michael J. Gottlieb for Drake. Gottlieb, or Gottlieb, however you say it, opened by stating that the court should review the complaint with the appropriate standard, and when reviewed under the appropriate standard, all of UMG's arguments are slashed. Gottlieb stated that the Davis case law was utterly devastating for UMG's defense. Gottlieb stated, "The question is not what a reasonable listener should conclude after hearing Not Like Us, but rather what they could have concluded. Under the Davis standard, listeners could have concluded Not Like Us to be defamatory, which millions clearly did. On a most
Okay, so just because they could have, dude, I, yeah, but that's such a broad statement. Like anybody could, I could listen to something and could think they're talking about something else, but it really ain't. You know what I'm saying? I mean, in my opinion, that's pretty difficult to prove if you're basically saying the listener could have thought this, but people, you just go off of what's going on now. Nobody's calling Drake a PDF file. So obviously it's just a song to people. Nobody's calling him a PDF file. People still support him. People still listen to his music. Nobody's calling him that. He took a blow to his career, but he dropped a video. Still people was dancing in the video. Still people was shucking and jiving for him. So I don't understand that.
to dismiss, the court must consider whether the statements are susceptible to interpretation. Gottlieb continued by saying UMG's motion to dismiss wants the court to disregard the pleadings in Drake's complaint and consider UMG's subjective narratives. Gottlieb stated that the court is required to make all reasonable inferences in the light most favorable to Drake. Gottlieb argued that UMG's 17 exhibits should be considered at trial or at later stages, not at the motion to dismiss stage, which I don't see that. If it was allowed to be submitted, then why shouldn't it be taken into consideration? Judge Vargas responded to Gottlieb, there are other songs referenced in the complaint besides Tailor-Made Freestyle. At the core of it, I have to consider the lyrics. The lyrics are the focal point of this case, which is the case that y'all created, which is the case that Drake decided to try and criminalize Kendrick Lamar's lyrics. So now let's get into the lyrics of the entire back and forth. Gottlieb responded by stating UMG's arguments stray away from the complaint and again states that the court must make reasonable inferences in favor of the plaintiff, not the defendant. Gottlieb stated that numerous allegations in the complaint explain the meaning of the lyrics, music video, and cover art. Millions who were exposed to the lyrics received it as a cultural ubiquity. UMG did not give the same treatment to the other songs in the rap battle. Okay, so
That's bullshit. So you basically telling me that because my song was better than yours and my song got more spins than yours and blew up faster than yours. I mean, so you're going off of what? What are you saying? You're saying that UMG manufactured this and made Kendrick Lamar's song much bigger and popular to damage their own client? But if you think about it, their client was saying and doing things in his music, and his songs was being played. His songs was reacted to. Everybody still played those songs. He said some things that was direct. It wasn't no hyperbole. He directly said stuff. So that's what I'm saying. Like, what is the argument here? I don't understand.
Gottlieb is trying to stray the usage of the other songs and continues to want to hone in exclusively on Not Like Us, music video, song lyrics, cover art, and the fact that people could have taken those lyrics differently than what they were intended. Gottlieb continued, the average listener could very well be a 13-year-old at a bar mitzvah who does not understand that it is part of a rap battle. Judge Vargas and the whole courtroom laughed. Judge Vargas responded, I will hope it's not being played at a bar mitzvah. Gottlieb responded, oh, it definitely is. There were some bar mitzvahs out there, but they were just having a good time. Judge Vargas, when it comes to tailor-made freestyle.
I mean, the irony of that, though, being played at a young person's bar mitzvah. And the whole song is basically calling him a PDF. And the song was being played at bar mitzvahs. And people saying that Kendrick was calling him a PDF. That's crazy.
Now, Drake in third person stated, talk about him liking young girls, that's a gift from me. How would I draw the inference that the lyrics mean anything besides Drake goading Kendrick Lamar? Excellent question, right? So Judge Vargas says, Drake himself clearly in third person says, go ahead and talk about this. So how could I draw the inference that the lyrics mean anything else besides him goading Kendrick? Gottlieb responded, because Not Like Us was treated differently. It was not treated like tailor-made freestyle. So they keep...
So basically you're saying that UMG treated the song differently, but you ain't really worried about actually what was said in the other songs. And the judge basically saying like, well, your guy debated, he baited him he told him like, look, come on, say what you gotta say. And then when he says it, you want to take him to court. Like, come on, man, this is crazy.
Answering the question by not answering the question. Basically saying, hey, we're not talking about tailor-made freestyle. We're talking about Not Like Us. And the judge is saying, okay, well, I'm asking you about this. Do you have an answer? As a matter of fact, Judge Vargas responded, I'm asking you. What other possible meaning could the court draw from those lyrics in tailor-made freestyle? You're asking the court to only consider Not Like Us because it was treated differently, but that would require the court to assume Kendrick Lamar knew the song would become a huge hit. If two people are arguing back and forth and one says something that goes too far, I can't disregard the entire context of the argument. That's what we've been saying the whole fucking time.
Bro, she just blew that whole case up. This case is over, bro. That right there, the judge is the lawyer in this case for UMG. She just blew that whole case up right there. Like, basically she's saying like, your boy started it, and now he's mad. Like, how would Kendrick Lamar had known that his song was gonna be a hit? My thing is like, he didn't know it was going to be a hit. That's number one. Number two, you just like your song was put out and you were saying certain things in Family Matters and saying certain things on Tailor-Made Freestyle. You're with the intention of it being a hit, right? You was those songs were supposed to blow up. You said it was the red button. Now look, this is crazy.
Judge Vargas, thank you. The people who like to use it, when we choose to use it, and this is y'all go try to say Judge Vargas is taking UMG's side. Ms. Vargas was paid off. Rock Nation did it. Gottlieb responded, that is a matter to be evaluated at a later stage, such as trial, not at the motion to dismiss stage.
Yeah, I know. I know. You gotta solve that later, not right now. We need some time. We need some time to get this right, cause I'm telling you now, this ain't right.
But all all complaints and rebuttals would need to be considered and read through thoroughly of whether or not to dismiss. Now, I don't think it's going to get dismissed, and clearly the fact that the judge wants to evaluate further context and all these different things, I don't see it being dismissed. Anyway, they said UMG republished the song and introduced it to new audiences. So they have no answer for TaylorMade at all.
They're not going to have an answer for that because she got him. And they know it. Like, when I'm telling you this, excuse me, this ain't going to go nowhere. This ain't going nowhere.
UMG knew at various points in the republication that the allegations were false. UMG itself removed the song from the context of the rap battle. UMG's own exhibits show that even the press interpreted it as real criminal accusations. Not Like Us does not reference any of these previous rumors in the song. They allude to that information being out there. But that's their job. UMG's exhibits show that. If those exhibits are accepted by the court, we're fine with that because it proves that the audience was susceptible to the connotation that Not Like Us is intended to convey the false factual allegation that Drake is a pedo. Judge Vargas then challenged Gottlieb by stating, Drake leveled allegations of his own. Are those fact or opinion? This is the basically same thing Inner City Press documented about, Drake talking about Kendrick's fiance having a child with his friend. Gottlieb responded, there is not enough information brought forth by anyone for the court to consider that. Oh, it's not enough information, no.
How's it not enough information? Your man said it. He said it the last day. Like, what? This is crazy.
There is no complaint related to the allegations Drake made, no cover art, no rumors that Drake's...
I said that. I said that. They're going to say that none of that actually happened. Even though he said it, you couldn't take it serious because there was no cover art. There was no memes and nothing. But it was. It was. He crushed the Good Kid, Mad City, supposedly, van. He did a video talking crazy. He had in his video, he had one of those Hell Angel dudes. Like, he know he was alluding to. We know he was alluding to. So I don't understand. Like, come on, bro.
Specifically references in order for the court to determine that. The court is not tasked with evaluating Drake's allegations. It is tasked with focusing on the allegations in the complaint. No. Because the judge just said, am I not to look into the entire argument, not just one piece of it that you don't like? Gottlieb finished argument on the defamation claim with, I don't know if the court wants me to address the actual malice standard. Actual malice means whether or not UMG published the statements knowing the statements were false or with reckless disregard for their falsity. Judge Vargas responded, I don't need to hear about the actual malice standard. Gottlieb then moved to the violation of NYGBL. Gottlieb stated, UMG does not address various allegations related to the New York General Business Law claims, such as the whitelisting payola, users being directed to Not Like Us when searching for Drake songs, or when prompting Siri to play Drake songs on Apple Music and Spotify. There's direct injury to Drake as a consumer of music. Why do y'all keep talking about him as a consumer of music? And as an artist, because his streaming royalties were diluted when bots were used. His streaming royalties were also not diluted. Whatever streams he got, he was paid for.
And my thing is, why they still bringing up bots? I thought this was dismissed, but you're saying that they were using bots. Like, come on.
Judge Vargas, Pardon my own ignorance on this, but how does manipulation of Siri on Apple Music, Spotify relate to the royalty payments and the bots? I'm sorry, that's my own lack of understanding, so forgive me. Gottlieb responded, they are two separate claims. The bots and the manipulation of Siri to play Not Like Us on Spotify, Apple Music. The bots are a matter of dilution. Use of bots dilutes the amount of royalty.
Bro, hey, how can you prove that? That means you're gonna have to bring Apple in. You're gonna have to bring Apple into the court because you're saying that. What are you saying? You're saying that UMG use bots to have the bots take over the algorithm. So when you say play Certified Lover Boy, it's gonna play Kendrick Lamar's album or a song, Not Like Us. Usually, you're supposed to say, "Hey, play Certified Lover Boy" by Drake, or by, you know what I'm saying. But I don't know. I don't know what they're trying to say. This is crazy.
Royalties paid to artists. Judge Vargas says, so what you're saying is every single artist could have this same claim against UMG? Gottlieb said, yes. Okay. Gottlieb did not make oral arguments for the harassment claims. He ended by stating, with respect to the harassment claim, we will rest on our papers, meaning the court should rely on the arguments made in the complaint. Judge Vargas then called Roland Ransom for UMG to provide a brief rebuttal. Ransom stated, Drake's attorney says they are fine with the court considering our exhibits, referencing Gottlieb's earlier comment of we're fine with it. The court should accept our exhibits for that reason alone. Ransom then ended, because he did say that, with lyrics should not be considered statements of fact, but rather hyperbole. Drake's side leaves out the context in one of our exhibits. They quote regarding how the audience interpreted Not Like Us. They leave out that Baka Not Nice was charged with S trafficking. Ooh.
Damn, bro. They fucking y'all up, man. Oh my God, bro. Bro. Oh my God, bro. This is gonna get crazy. It's crazy.
What about your friends? Are they gonna be around? Are they gonna stand ground? What about your friends? Judge Vargas did not comment following Ransom's rebuttal. Good judge said, oop. OVO docket says, overall, it was difficult to tell which way Judge Vargas was definitively leaning. She has a great poker face. She appeared to be more challenging both sides to display their best rather than looking to be swayed. An indication to us that her decision is already made. Why would you say that, Bendino? Judge, the judge is asking questions. That's what a judge does. An indication to us that her decision is already made. This is where your ass got called out. They say the oral argument felt more like a class being taught. We also want to note that there were about 40 to 50 summer associates from Sidley Austin LLP, the firm representing UMG, there to observe. It was definitely good to observe if you are a law student. Regardless, they still believe the case will move forward to trial, and honestly, I do too.
All right, so I'm gonna end it there. Yeah, I think that this case gonna go to trial, but I'm hoping to go to trial because that's gonna be a lot of good content for me because I love stuff like this. So, thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate y'all, man. I'll see y'all on the next one, Torture Talk After Hours. Make sure y'all go subscribe to Jay Nolan. He's a good guy. He does a lot of good work, and donate to his channel if y'all could. All right, man. I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace. Bye.